Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Lucky, the CCP says that it will never allow drug traffickers to kill and poison the Chinese people. And in fact, the Chinese government is true to its word. You saw in my previous graphic there were no reported fentanyl-related deaths in China. Unfortunately, while they're zealous about prosecuting and going after drug traffickers internally, they are not zealous or concerned about going after drug traffickers who sell their deadly products abroad, including in the U.S. For years, we've asked the CCP to prosecute hundreds of individuals, hundreds. But to our knowledge, the CCP has acted only once based on all of those requests. Let's take one example of the CCP's inaction. This father and son duo, Guang Hua and Fu Zhang, the Zhang brothers, were indicted by the Cleveland U.S. Attorney's Office in 2018 for making and shipping fentanyl to 37 U.S. states and 25 countries. Now, we actually brought these individuals to the attention of the CCP to prosecute. And as you can see, there's a $5 million reward for their capture. They are so well known in Mexico that they are known as the Los Zhang cartel in Mexico. Mr. Lucky, despite these wanted posters and years of the U.S. going after these folks, these guys are still operating freely, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
Now, Mr. Donovan, when we request the CCP to cooperate with us on hundreds and hundreds of cases, they just haven't stepped up in the vast majority, isn't that right?
That's correct.
Now, I'd like to turn your attention to another topic, and that is PRC-based vendors selling illicit fentanyl precursors and synthetic opioids online. Last July, the PRC's embassy here in Washington acknowledged the need to go after drug-related activities through online platforms. However, they haven't addressed that issue. Just last night, we took a screenshot of a PRC-based website called Chemical Book. This is a screenshot of that website, where we found it's possible to buy a new synthetic opioid called protonitazine. Now, Mr. Lucky, protonitazine is a Schedule I drug with no known medical uses, correct?
Yes.
And it's much deadlier and more potent than any form of fentanyl, right?
That's my understanding, yes.
And as we can see here, you can actually contact this, this maker, Wuhan Boyan Import and Export. You can buy 1 kilogram for, I'm sorry, this is the CCP calling. You can buy 1 kilogram of this stuff for 20 bucks, which can kill about 170,000 people. And you can do that today, online. Would you agree with me, Mr. Barr, that this type of post has to be taken down immediately?
Absolutely. There's no excuse for it. And one of the compelling aspects of the committee's report is all the evidence of this kind of activity that's going on open and notoriously in China.
And there are hundreds of these website posts, hundreds.
Yes.
This is completely unacceptable. Let me turn your attention to my final topic. In China, the government knows how to take down information from the internet, and it does it regularly. In fact, it turns out that even Winnie the Pooh, pictured here, is banned from the Chinese internet because some people think that poor Winnie looks like Xi Jinping. This is true. I'm not making this up. But the CCP, even though it knows how to take down images and it knows how to take down Chinese terms on the internet, they also know how to censor English words critical of the regime, such as Free Tibet or Xinjiang genocide. But it's a different story when it comes to English terms related to buying fentanyl. And again, this is what Linda Zhang of my staff actually looked up on Baidu in the last couple days. You can find these English terms widely on Baidu. Make an offer to buy fentanyl, looking to buy alfentanyl. You can find the CAS numbers. Those are those serial numbers associated with illicit drugs. Now, Mr. Lucky, isn't it clear that they know how to censor Chinese terms related to buying fentanyl because they don't want Chinese people buying fentanyl internally, right?
Correct.
But when it comes to English terms, they allow those to proliferate widely on the Chinese internet, suggesting that they want people abroad to be able to buy fentanyl on the Chinese internet.
That seems reasonable.
The CCP says that they're addressing the fentanyl issue, but they're not prosecuting criminals. They're letting companies openly sell this stuff online, and they're letting people, but only those outside of China, to easily find this stuff online. Isn't this the biggest sign to you, Mr. Lucky, that they're just not doing anything substantive to combat the fentanyl problem?
It absolutely appears so.
Thank you, Mr. Lucky. I yield back.